Let's talk about that viral video.
You are Locked On Rockies, your daily Colorado Rockies podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Rock on Rockies fans, welcome into the Locked On Rockies podcast for today, the 23rd day of August in the year 2022. I am your host of the Locked On Rockies podcast, Paul Holden, your Rockies fan extraordinaire, bringing you your daily Colorado Rockies talk right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where you can find your team every day. And we're talking about the Rockies every single day right here on the Locked On Rockies podcast, free and streaming on your favorite streaming service. All you got to do is search Locked On Rockies and you'll be taken to where you need to go. We also stream our episodes live on YouTube, and you can subscribe on YouTube and be a part of the show. Today on Locked On Rockies, I wanted to have some fun. I at this point in the year and with the Rockies right now, off day yesterday, short, quick little series coming up here. The big stuff with the Rockies, the more analysis-driven stuff with the Rockies will come against the Mets later on, how the Rockies will handle dealing with DeGrom. About an hour ago, it was confirmed that DeGrom is going to start against the Rockies on Thursday. So that's one thing to keep your eye on. So I wanted to talk about today in the world of professional baseball and in the world of entertaining news. Did you all see the video of the person who forms the hot dog straw and then proceeds to drink a beer out of it? And now you kind of sit there and you might go through it and you kind of sit and you might be horrified. You might be like, what is going on? What is this guy doing? When I first watched it, I was curious about the people next to him. Did anyone say anything to the guy that just decided to pull a straw, poke a hole through the whole hot dog, and then proceeded to start drinking the beer out of the hot dog? And then I was kind of in the camp of this was crazy, and I still kind of am. But on the flip side, hot dogs, beer, they kind of go hand in hand. And same with brats as well. You know, beer battered. There's a lot of beer battered stuff or beer involvement when it comes to hot dogs and things like that. So I kind of thought when I saw this video, this could be the next big promotional item. This is some team, I guarantee you, I bet you, next year in the minor leagues or even at the majors, because we see the major leagues do some interesting things when it comes to ballpark food in some places. The hot dog straw is going to be a hot ticket item, and the Rockies could be at the forefront. Imagine, trying to drink a beer from a Rocky dog or one of those foot-long monsters. Because it's not that crazy. You think the flavors, you think everything that mixes together, I think that's a pretty good combo. It's once you get past the initial shock factor, the initial whoa of a guy hollowing out a hot dog in public, dropping it in an expensive beer, and then drinking the beer through the hot dog. Because imagine after he drinks the beer through the hot dog, he eats the hot dog, right? Because now it's all soaked in beer, and that flavor is probably delicious. So we can't sit out here. We can't be out here casting stones against the beer hot dog straw guy. I think it is something we need to consider. I think there might even be a trend. Don't you think that there will be another copycat now? There will be another person out there that's going to go out and record at the ballpark them drinking through the hot dog straw. I'm telling you, the marketing people are already on this. They're already looking at this as an opportunity to turn it into a promotional item. I guarantee it. Why are we talking about the hot dog straw guy? Well, it's just because The Rockies simply haven't given us a ton to talk about of late. We kind of broke down in the last episode and yesterday's episode the weekend. And I mean, that was a nice positive step. It wasn't great, but the Rockies did have a good winning weekend. But there's not enough really going on in terms of the Rockies at the major league organization. That's all that exciting at the moment. If you're curious, where's Chris Bryant? Well, he's in a boot, and the team hasn't decided if they're going to shut him down for the rest of the season. Elias Diaz does make his return to the lineup here for the Rockies and is in the lineup tonight. But I wanted to start off by talking about the hot dog straw guy, just because I think I sometimes like to take a look and go around in some random wacky stuff. There's so much baseball and there's so much Rocky stuff that sometimes it's hard to keep up with all of it. And then sometimes right now it's, what more do you want? What more are you hoping for? And I think that sometimes you kind of just got to take joys in a random dude just doing something absolutely crazy. But I do want to know, if you're listening to this, are you pro hot dog straw? Are you anti hot dog straw? And you gotta have good reason. I mean, if it's gross, that's one thing. But why is it gross? You're eating it, you're drinking it, you'd be doing the same thing. Beer and hot dogs go together. I think that we're sleeping on this potential. It's just that it's a shock to the system. But I think that this is the next big promotional thing in baseball waiting to happen. I mean, I can't sit here and deny that I wouldn't drink a beer through a straw made of a hot dog. I think I would. Anyway, enough of that fun. I think one of the big things to watch for this series with the Rockies will be the return of Elias Diaz. What does that mean for the Rockies? Are we going to get the offensive production from Elias Diaz? He has been someone in the second half of the season that was swinging the bat pretty well. Getting back to that Elias Diaz that we kind of know and love. We did a whole conversation about how much Elias Diaz benefits from playing in the second half of the season. But, cold stretch before going on to the IL there. The last 7 games before the IL, 154 average, 241 OBP, slugging at 269. That might be, that injury could be part of the reason there as well. I'm looking for Elias Diaz to do closer to what he does in his last 15 games. Batting 255, 367, 451 with a home run and good RBIs. I think you're really getting more and you're getting extra from Elias Diaz if he's putting the ball over the wall. So it'd be nice if he was to start hitting more home runs, but even though, as long as he's thumping it to the wall with enough juice for some doubles or something like that, it's pretty good. But again, Elias Diaz hasn't seen the field in about 13 days after playing in that St. Louis game where he went 1 for 3, walk and a strikeout in that one. So one of the players to watch there, Elias Diaz, what his impact in his return to the lineup is going to be. Let's keep talking about what we're hoping for, what we're looking for in this Rockies-Rangers series. But before we do that, LinkedIn is the place to go for you to get the best hire for your job. And as you gear up for fall, you need the right people on your team to help your small business fire on all cylinders. LinkedIn Jobs is here to make it easier to find the people you want to talk to faster and for free. Create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 810 million people. Then add your job in the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you are hiring so that your network can help you find the right people to hire. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonmlb. That's linkedin.com/lockedonmlb to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. One thing to look for here in the Rockies would be to continue some good offense. The Rangers pitching staff is not necessarily a dominant one. Outside of John Gray, they have some pretty high ERAs, and going up against tonight, 3-6 here from Dunning with a 4.06 ERA from Dane Dunning. In Dane Dunning's last 7 games, giving up 16 earned runs, 18 walks, 31 strikeouts, an ERA of 4. He's heading into Coors Field, a place where the offense tends to go up a little bit. I didn't know if you knew that or not, but this should be an opportunity for the Rockies to go out there and do some damage. I do think that the Rockies could position themselves in for a nice little sweep here. Both these teams kind of similar in record as well, but I should bear in mind here that the Rangers starter here, Martin Perez, for in the second game, actually is 9-4 with a 2.80 ERA, whip of 1.20, strikeouts at 132. So I shouldn't sit there and say that the Rangers rotation hasn't been all that great. And other than outside of John Gray, Martin Perez here having a pretty darn good season, especially last seven games, there, 42 innings pitched, 30 hits, 14 earned runs, 23 walks, 46 strikeouts. That whip there pretty close to this season as well at 1.26. Let's go back to Dane Dunning. Let's see what he did last time up here and see if there's anything the Rockies can take advantage of here and see if there will get a continuation. Last time out for Dunning in a win, 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. If the Rockies can draw some walks, that's going to be nice. Now, back-to-back games, back-to-back starts for Dunning here with 3 walks. And there are places that have very few, that have as many impacts and as many consequences due to walks than Coors Field. If the Rockies can get 3, 4, multiple walks in a game, set up some scoring opportunities or some free passes, that's going to be key to getting out ahead early. I think the Rockies definitely want to get up early. They don't want to be playing catch up in this series. They don't want to be playing catch up against a team that they think that they can handle quite well in the Rangers here. And when these two teams did play, but it was earlier in the season, so not too much you can kind of compare since then. But of course, the Rockies will be getting. When these matched up. Let's see. ESPN. Anyway. In the other 2 games, the Rockies did beat the Rangers in both games here. They can win the entire season series there if they continue to win. The Rockies 6-4 win in the first game and then a 4-1 win. But this was the beginning of the year. These were the Rockies were improved to 3-1 in that series, then to 4-1 there early on. Not much you can kind of take from that. This is a completely different looking team with a bunch of different factors here. Not much you can kind of take away from that. No Chris Bryant in this situation, but here's hoping Montero continues to carry some thump in the bat and get some home runs. This is a lineup. This is a team that has given up runs. This is a team, even though they have some good pitchers, it is a team that has given up some a good chunk of runs here. Let's take a look here at the Rangers when it comes to the pitching stats here. They aren't a team that is necessarily the one thing that they have over the Rockies in terms of their starters is they are striking out more per 9. That's one thing the Rockies got to watch out for. And when it comes to the relief pitching, the Rangers do have some players that are averaging close to double digits or over double digits in terms of strikeouts per 9 innings, and the Rockies will see 2 of them at least, not above 9, I should say. But Martin Perez is averaging 8. And Dane Dunning right behind at 7.8 strikeouts per inning. So one way that the Rockies can get themselves in trouble, as they have gotten themselves in trouble all season long, is by striking out. This would be a great tone setter to go into the game 2 to get the sweep, the little quick sweep if you're looking to go that. Dunning's got those back-to-back games of 3 walks. Draw the walks, eliminate the strikeouts, good quality at bats should set up nicely for the Rockies to be able to put in some runs and score some as well. Let's take a look at the Rockies lineup here and kind of keep an eye on something that I'm going to be curious to see if the Rockies will continue to do in this at this point in the season and where they are at. But before we do that, let's take a brief moment. Okay. Here in this point in the season, and at least looking at the ESPN lineup, I'm not sure. I will be curious to see how much the Rockies are going to be using Ryan McMahon in the leadoff position. I don't necessarily know if I love Ryan McMahon leading off for the Rockies, but I do like the idea of at least trying out to see and kind of moving some of these pieces around and seeing what you can kind of build behind. Because when you look at how this lineup is constructed, McMahon, Rogers, Blackmon, Cron, Iglesias, Grichuk, Diaz, Hilliard, and Bernard, you don't really hate the flow of that. I do like the 1-2 punch of Rogers and McMahon. We wish that we were getting more from Connor Joe and the slump wasn't so bad for Connor Joe at this point in the year. It'd be still nice to have him at the top of the lineup, but I don't mind mixing this up, giving McMahon an opportunity to kind of keep building on that 4-game hitting streak, seeing that Ryan McMahon has been hitting the ball and seeing the ball a little bit better here over the past couple of weeks, giving him opportunity to get the maximum amount of at-bats and see what he can do with them. And I'm fine with that. And, of course, definitely fine with Rogers sitting in that 2-hole, 3-hole all the time. I think that's where Brendan Rodgers should live. 2-hole, 3-hole. That's where I'm hoping to see those two continue to be a nice dominant force there for the Rockies. No Montero in this one. I really want to see going forward how those three look in the lineup together. We saw it a little bit this weekend, of course, but I'm really hoping to see more of what those three look like when they are built into the lineup close to each other to see how they can go off of each other and build off of each other in the lineup. Is there an ideal way to do it? Is Montero the one to lead off into those two? Is it better to have Rogers lead into those two? Yeah, it's something interesting and to keep our eyes and minds on for the future. Charlie Blackmon, we'll see. Again, like it at the 3 spot, and Cron. Hopefully we can start getting CJ Cron, who desperately needs to break out of this slump. The Rockies need a lot more from CJ Cron. You can see one of the things that has been getting in the way of their run producing is CJ Cron not doing what he has done this season. It has been a tough second half of the season for CJ Cron, and hopefully now nice little 2-game set against a team that the Rockies feel that they can beat in the Rangers should hopefully be the antidote here. Eric Harper in the live chat says, Brennan has been my favorite part of the season. Connor and Laris are up there too. Yeah, those are all spots that you should feel good and happy about. Unfortunately, we wish for more from Connor Joe, but maybe some injury stuff there. But I mean, he's still got some pretty all right numbers. Unfortunately, just hasn't been able to get. He hasn't been given a lot of opportunities to kind of shake out and work through this slump. I'm going to be curious if he might start getting more here sometime soon. Rockies, not a lot of experience against Dunning here. Most people just with a couple of bats from the earlier in the year when these two teams met up. Iglesias has the most at-bats with 4 against Dunning here. On the bump for the Rockies tonight, German Marquez. Really want German to get the strikeouts. I mean, these look like two pitchers that have kind of had similar years here in Marquez and Dunning. Pretty similar across the board. Marquez giving up more hits, but tied in strikeouts, and Dunning with only 3 more walks. Marquez, however, much more likely to give up the long ball at 21. And this is a Rangers lineup that does have the ability to hit the ball over the wall, and they are playing some good baseball of late, coming off of 3 straight wins against the Twins there at Target Field. So the Rangers are coming into Coors Field with a good little bit of momentum. Eric Harper in the live chat says, Rogers' future seems really bright. Yep, there was some people that were not too thrilled with Rogers at the beginning of the year, but we have seen that he is really good, and he is going to be a nice special piece for the Colorado Rockies and someone that will contribute. I think he plays elite defense. He's got a great bat. He's been easily the best player on the Rockies this year outside of the first month of the season. And if that wasn't one thing that stuck out so mightily, if it wasn't so bad, Rogers would have been easily an all-star this year for the Rockies. Short and sweet little pod today, folks. We're going to keep it tight. Like I said, we're going to kind of see what's going on in the world here of Rockies baseball once they get back in action. And we want to have some fun. So again, let me know what you feel about the beer hot dog straw. And let me know what you think about the Rockies by following us on Twitter at LO Rockies or me directly at Paul Holden 33. You can also stream the show live on YouTube at Locked On Rockies. Your subscription to Locked On Rockies is a massive, massive help. And if you want to stay up to date with all things in the world of Major League Baseball, well, check out the Locked On MLB podcast. And don't miss anything going on with the Broncos, Nuggets, and Avalanche with the Locked On Broncos, Avalanche, and Nuggets podcast, all free and streaming on your favorite streaming service. Folks, until next time, I'm Paul Holden saying so long from the Locked On Rockies podcast.